and welcome to The Watchers. I'm Terence Marshman-Edwards.
I'm Matthew Ford.
And I'm Rhys Jones.
And this is our 5th lockdown special. And today we are talking all about our guilty little pleasures. So, if you watched our last show, you will know that I've got a little bit of a thing about the term guilty pleasures, in that I don't really like it, but it's a handy catch-all phrase for films that are perhaps not the kind of thing that one would expect you to like. So tonight we thought we'd discuss some of our guilty pleasures, for want of a better word. One thing I will say, gents, no judgment here. This is a safe space. Nobody is going to judge you, even if you do pick cats.
Oh, we're going to get trolled.
I don't like the term guilty pleasure because I don't think pleasure should ever be guilty. I think that's not the right emotion to attach to pleasure, personally, in any form. But as I say,
no guilt in pleasure.
It's like Frankenfurter says in the Rocky Horror Show: "There's no crime in giving yourself over to pleasure."
Ooh.
Matthew, would you like to give us a list of your guilty pleasures, please?
I don't think camp even goes close to describing this film. It is the 1997 blockbuster directed by Mr. Joel Schumacher that is Batman and Robin.
See, I thought about saying that one, but that's too close to my genres.
So, funny enough, so did I.
Yes. I love it.
Yes.
Haters can hate. Haters can hate. I see what Schumacher was trying to do. He was trying to make a big budget Adam West film.
Yeah, it's the 60s.
Yeah. It just falls flat on its arse and is amazing for it. Schwarzenegger is one of the best panto villains. It's like he's doing a run at the New Theatre. Every space joke you can think of is in that film.
I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Ten Below. Friends call me Snow Miser. Whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch.
Come on, sing! Louder! Come on, sing!
I think out of the 4 films, Clooney's the best Bruce Wayne.
Yes, absolutely. I love him as Bruce Wayne.
There's just so many moments in that film where you just go, what the hell am I watching? Yep. Dumbass Bane, nipples, Batman credit card. It's just zooming on people's asses. And Batman and Robin just arguing like they're a couple. There's just so much in that film. You just go, what the hell? But it's a mess. But it's a glorious mess, and you can judge me all I want, but yeah, I love it. I love Batman and Robin.
I'm with you, sister.
No judgment here at all. It is an unmitigated mess of a film, let's be honest. If you're looking at it as a cinematic kind of thing, it is a complete and utter shambles. But that doesn't stop it being enjoyable. And frankly, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, you can tell is having a ball camping it up as much as she is. I mean, it's a performance that, she's clearly channeling like Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt from the 60s. She's got that kind of thing to it. I mean, yeah, it is a mess. It's an hour and a half toy commercial. But,
that's what Joel Schumacher has actually said. That's what he was hired to do, and so he went full 60s after introducing some bits and pieces in Forever. But we're talking about Uma Thurman, but Alicia Silverstone, she was massive at the time, and this film put a do you know what I mean? I think that killed her career.
It tanked her. Yeah, and unfairly so.
Absolutely, because everyone else did all right afterwards.
And she was subject to some of the most horrendous body shaming comments. I was like, bad people, stop it.
Absolutely.
No. Anyway, so yeah, I'm so glad somebody mentioned that.
I'm glad someone mentioned it because I stayed away from it because it's too near the stuff that you'd expect from me.
You are welcome.
Reese, your first one, please.
Okay, don't judge me now. My first guilty pleasure stems back from when I was a teenage boy. It's a Pamela Anderson venture. It's Barbed Wire. I'm joking. That's not my choice. I'm joking.
I really wanted you to argue that.
My teenage self would say that was definitely a guilty pleasure. I might point out, viewers, this is before the time where streaming sites were around. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pick the one that I'm not too sure is class as a guilty pleasure massively, but it's one that people probably don't know that I love it. Adore, absolutely love this film from my childhood to my teenage life to my adult life. Mary Poppins.
Oh.
It is absolutely breathtakingly perfect. There's so much to say about that film. You know, it was made in 1964 and it was, the technology didn't exist and they built the technology to make it happen. Like, if you go on YouTube now and search a documentary of how Mary Poppins was made from a filmatic technique geek point of view, it's beautiful. From a storyline point of view, it's beautiful. The performance of, you know, good God, Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke, they're just perfect apart from a certain accent that's so bad. I mean, Julie had a problem with accents, obviously. But, yeah, it's just a spoonful of sugar on a jolly holiday, a step in time, a chum-chum-churee. Let's fly a kite all together. Let's all go feed the birds. And for goodness sake, just remember the film is indeed supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
And the only thing I'd add to that is it's practically perfect in every
way. In every single way.
You're going a bit too far, don't you think? So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say. But better use it carefully or it could change your life.
For example?
Yes?
One night I said it to me girl, and now me girl's me wife. Oh, and a lovely thing she is, too.
She's
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. 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 Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna bring the tone down, or I'm not really sure. All three of my guilty pleasure films are in the same kind of genre, but they're all action films. They're all kind of
I want to hear this.
Here we go.
So the fact that I'm mentioning three action movies, I don't think people should be surprised, but I think they will be. So my first choice, it harks back to something that Matt was kind of saying. Camp really describes this well. It's Demolition Man.
Oh, yes! That is such a great film.
That is a classic 90s movie.
Yeah.
Oh, is it so 90s? And it's
so 90s.
It's so 90s.
Well, probably hasn't, but I mean, for those that don't know, it's Sylvester Stallone. He gets frozen and gets thawed out in the future where everything's gone a bit weird, but his nemesis, played by Wesley Snipes, who doesn't so much chew the scenery as devour it whole. He's got to go and face this, and it's a brave new world, and you know, kind of he's a man out of time, and they never explain the 3 seashells.
Yeah.
You're out of toilet paper.
Hey, did you say toilet paper?
Oh. They used handfuls of wadded paper back in the 20s.
I'm happy that you're happy, but the place where you're supposed to have the toilet paper, you got this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. I can see how that could be confusing.
Supporting cast you've got. I mean, it's an early role for Sandra Bullock, Benjamin Bratt, Glenn Shaddock's associate Bob. Brilliant character actor. And then you've got Nigel Hawthorne. Nigel Hawthorne. What's he doing slumming it in a piece of shit like this? But he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant because he plays it straight. He plays being that kind of evil, bureaucratic kind of, I'm doing this all for the greater good. Oh, yeah, no, you're not, yes. Piece of shit. But it is just, it is a lot of fun.
Was not expected demolition, man.
I did not expect those words to come out of your mouth.
Exactly. Well, that's what this is all about. So, Matthew, your choice.
How do you follow that? There is nothing guilty about this film. It is Mel Brooks' Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure, but okay.
I think the trouble is that there are snobs out there who compare it to Young Frankenstein, the producers, Blazing Saddles, and go, oh, it's not as good as his earlier work.
Oh,
like,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, and it's like, well, no, but that doesn't stop it being a great film.
It's a cracking film.
No,
Mel Brooks goes to the jugular with this film so far as ripping the piss out of Star Wars. The scene where you've got yogurt and all the merchandise is spot on. It's like he could tell, even back in '87, that Star Wars, this is before the prequels came out, that it was a risk of losing its soul. So many great scenes. The whole bit where it's like, is there anyone on this ship who is not an asshole?
I know that. What's his name? That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major Asshole. And his cousin? He's an asshole too, sir. Gunner's mate, first class, Philip Asshole. How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Yo! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
To be fair, Rick Moranis has most of the great lines where he goes, go back to then. We can't, sir. Why can't we go back to then? Because we passed it.
That's one of my favourite bits of dialogue ever. That is absolutely perfect dialogue.
Try here. Stop. What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie? Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now. What happened to then? We passed then. When? Just now. We're at now. Go back to then. When? Now. Now? Now. I can't. Why? We missed it. When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon. How soon? Sir! What? We've identified their location. Where? It's the moon of Vega. Good work. Set a course and prepare for our arrival. When? 1900 hours, sir. By high noon tomorrow, they will be our prisoners. Oh!
It's such a great film, and damn all the snobs who go, oh, well, that was when Mel Brooks' career started to go south. It's like, no, love Spaceballs. It's okay. It goes for childish humor rather than kind of like the wit of, say, Young Frankenstein, but screw it. It's brilliant. I love it. Love it.
No arguments here.
No. We talked about the 80s in the last show, and there was a film that I didn't mention. So maybe it's my guilty pleasure of the 1980s. Three Men and a Baby.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that film. If you don't know, it's a remake of a French comedy film. Thank you very much. It's the only highbrow moment of the evening. Mentioned French cinema. It's a comedic answer to the masculinity movement in the 80s and the yuppie scene and three young bachelors who end up having a baby they have to look after, and one of them's the father. They don't know between the three of them which one of them has fathered a baby, because they're all very, very singular bachelors, and it is the 1880s. And also, if you have seen this film, you may have heard of the ghost in the window.
Look at the way she's looking at me. For a moment there, I had her laughing.
Yeah, just like me, huh?
Look at the way she's looking at me.
it's not. It's a cardboard cutout, or it's a member of the cast or crew. That's a lie. That's an urban myth about this film. Move that on. Three Men and a Baby is perfect comedy. It's heart on your sleeve. It's dramatic. It's of its time without being overly 80s. You can watch it now, and the message resonates massively with men. And it is a tour de force for Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, and Ted Danson, who were all big at the time from various either movies or TV shows. And they went in a different direction than just doing the straight action movie or comedy movie. It's beautiful. And also, fun fact, if you didn't realise, Three Men and a Baby was directed by Leonard Nimoy, who played Mr. Spock.
Oh, bless him. Bless him. Oh,
yep.
I have watched that film over and over and over again. I love it.
Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Baby, I just can't treat you right. Well, I hate to leave you, baby. I don't mean maybe, because I love you so. Bo-do-de-o-do-de-o-do.
Right, my next one, I'm not going to be able to dissect it, really.
I can't wait for this. I really can't wait for this.
Cliffhanger.
I haven't seen that film in years.
As soon as you were thinking about guilty pleasures, I was like, I enjoyed that. I remember enjoying it. I remember it being so utterly overblown and ridiculous, but I remember really enjoying it. It's Stallone past the 80s, end of the 80s. He was starting to get into Drek, like Stop or My Mum Will Shoot and things like that. It just kind of was just like, no, you're better than you. Even he is better than that. And I just the idea of him going up against this cartel of bad guys led by John Lithgow, who's playing it like he's at the National. It's just absurd, but it's absurd in a good way, and it's enjoyable. So yeah, Cliffhanger. There we go. Choice number 2.
It's me now, isn't it? Oh, my last one of the night. So many guilty pleasures I could have gone with, and I went for this one. Watched this in the cinema as a kid, and I still love it today. It is Steven Spielberg's Hook.
I hate Peter Pan.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah, baby. We're going there. All right, the bloke's done Jaws. He's done E.T. He's done Close Encounters, and people can say, it's not as good as any of those. And it's not. But it is still a great film. Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins, the pair of them in that film, they steal every scene they're in. They make that film. Dustin Hoffman behind all the wig and the makeup and everything. It's like Boris Karloff. What he's doing. And just any scene with Maggie Smith as Granny Wendy, just...
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Robin Williams, again, can't fault him. His transformation from kind of like flabby attorney to ending up back as Peter Pan. Okay, you could argue that the film does go a bit Rocky 3 when you've got the Lost Boys trying to turn him back into Peter Pan. Fair enough, but still argue it's a great film. And it still holds up, the visuals, because it's not CGI saturated or anything like that. It looks like a Gilbert and Sullivan musical. It's typical Spielberg warm and fuzzy feeling, like you get with E.T. and all his back catalogue, about what it means to go back to being a child. There's nothing wrong with it. It got slagged off back in the day, and it shouldn't have. If I was in a pub right now and someone turned around and went, "Hook is shit," I would be like, I think you'll find you are wrong. And here are the reasons why. Before I get glad. Reese, this is your last one. Choose carefully.
Well, it's not about choosing, is it? Like, it's about what is your guilty pleasure? This is probably the one that I don't think you two would ever think this is one of my favourite films of all time.
Okay.
It was a film that... basically, it's a film that came out in 1990.
Right.
It's a story about Sam, who's a banker, and he tragically dies.
Oh.
It's Ghost.
Yeah.
Starring the late, great... See, it makes you go, oh! Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, this film just gives me goosebumps. I've literally got goosebumps now. It's a film I can watch time and time again. Yes, it has the I'll put a case for anyone out there that thinks that Ghosts is a mamby-pamby romantic film involving pottery. Yes, it is, but also far, far more. It is a story about love, sacrifice, revenge, empathy, love, afterlife, living for the now, and letting go. The film is beautifully shot, beautifully portrayed. It was a Oscar-winning performance by Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
Which was well deserved. It is a tour de force of what you could call supernatural thriller / romantic film. It is just, words fail me. It's just so good. And remarkable when I also forgot that this film is directed by Jerry Zucker.
Yeah, a bit like Three Men and a Baby.
Never would have thought that, Spock from Star Trek directed Three Men and a Baby. For those who don't know, Jerry Zucker is more well known as one of the many people involved, but mainly he has directed films like Airplane and the Police Squad TV series, to name but a few of his comedy films that he's known for. He did Ruthless People just before this, which was a massive comedy film in the 1980s. Ghost from Jerry Zucker. It
doesn't quite compute.
But somehow, well done, Jerry Zucker. You made a superb film, and no one's let you make a film like this since, which is the saddest part. This is the one that opened my heart to romantic cinema.
It's interesting that you mentioned that it's more than just a romance, because I mean, if you look at, especially when Sam is murdered and when kind of at the end the devil gets his due, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's not family friendly.
I remember watching it as a kid and going bits of it thinking, this is actually quite scary.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Fun fact. The noise of the demons, the noise effect the film Jerry Zucker and everyone came up with, the noise effect of the screeching, that's babies crying, played backwards and pitch shifted. It's old school techniques of real and augmented. It's look at Matt's face.
That's harrowing. It's actually harrowing.
The Master of Horror. The Master of Horror has messed his match with a ghost.
I mean, Ghost is known obviously for the pottery and Unchained Melody, and Whoopi Goldberg just being brilliant as Oda Mae.
Yeah.
But there is a real heart to it, and I know it's overdone, and I know it's been lampooned, and I know it's been spoofed a lot of the time. But the bit with the quarter, or is it a dime? The coin.
The coin.
Yes. And ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. Every time.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Colors for luck. Sam says it's for love.
I feel like a complete Philistine.
Tez,
yes.
You're me today.
No, my last choice is a film I'm fairly certain I will have mentioned this at some point during the time that we've been doing this, because this one is basically my quintessential guilty pleasure. It's Air Force One.
Oh! Yes.
I can't tell you why. I cannot pinpoint anything specific in the film that makes me go, yes! Apart from the whole thing. The whole thing. I mean, it is relentlessly jingoistic. It's America, kind of, it's really America-centric. It's just... In other hands, it would have been really heavy-handed, but having Harrison Ford as the president, you kind of go, okay, that's good. Gary Oldman, absolutely brilliant. Wendy Crewson, bless her, and Glenn Close. So you look at the cast, you're kind of going, this is a good cast. This is a good cast. But it is unashamedly just adrenaline. It's pure adrenaline. It's pure, kind of, as I said at the beginning, it's balls to the wall action. And I swear to God, as soon as you hear, get off my plane.
Get off my plane.
Yeah, I can't really talk about it any more than that, but yeah. Air Force One.
I love that film. I was chatting to someone about that film the other day, actually. Air Force One, mate, the reason you call it a guilty pleasure is this. This is what I see it as, right? If you watch that film, right, without those two leads in the opposing roles, you'd see the amount of cracks and how terrible the film is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman. Their performances that you're like, yeah, get off my plane. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really explain it other than just it is my guilty pleasure.
Oh, I love that.
Brilliant picks for films there.
So, Matt, you said you had a couple of reserves. What else did you have?
It's a guilty pleasure, but I have a love-hate relationship with this film. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh.
Yeah, I see why.
Yeah.
Because there are moments in that film that are brilliant for both good and hysterically bad reasons, and there are moments in that film where you just go, what the hell is this?
And who can...
There is every kind of acting in that film. You go from Keanu Reeves wooden to Anthony Hopkins full on panto on steroids over the top. There is every kind of acting in that film. And I'm going to get on my high horse now. We could have a Fontra title. Matt gets on his high horse. Francis Ford Coppola, the director who gave us the Godfather trilogy, who gave us Apocalypse Now, rips off Evil Dead, because you have the first person camera swooping round. I'm sorry, Evil Dead did it first. You've got a multi-million-dollar horror film that ripped off a film made by a bunch of students.
He sounds angry.
Rude.
Yeah, I've got a love-hate relationship with Bram Stoker's Dracula, but my other one, which, guilty pleasure, love it, Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes.
It's I would say after Jaws, best shark film.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I got one for you. I've got one for you that it's part of action, it's part of adventure, so that's why another reason why I didn't mention it. But like one I was toying with was Cutthroat Island, which if you don't know what Cutthroat Island is, it came out. It came out. It stank up the cinema and vanished off from all time.
Didn't that come out around about the same time as Waterworld?
Yeah, and that's another example of a film that I really enjoy, but everyone hates. I love Waterworld. It's Mad Max on water. What more do you want?
Yeah.
That's a good place to leave it before we end up going into too many films.
Just reading it all off. Yeah, leave it there.
What we're going to do now, next show, we are going to take a look at the top 250 films voted by IMDb users. We're not going to discuss all 250 of them. That's not what we're going to do. But this is what we're going to do. We're each going to have a look at the list. We're all of us individually are going to choose one film that we want to watch, that we've not seen before. That's the whole point. And we're going to dip in, watch the film, and then the three of us are going to get together, and the next show will be us having a chat about 3 films and having a little review of a film. That's weird, isn't it, boys? Reviewing films in a film show?
I know, it feels strange, but
weird. Lockdown's changed us.